It's great to be here this morning. Always look forward to the Motorcycle Safety Forum. It's always a great opportunity for us to get together and bring lots of different agencies and organizations and individuals together to work on motorcycle safety. And so we appreciate the partnership with TTI and appreciate the college hosting us here today. This is great. And it's great to see so many of you here. Talking on the way up here, it seems like we've had all sorts of weather tied in with these forums. We had one day that we had sleet going to the forum in Austin. We've had cold, we've had wet, and now today lots of wind. So I'm not sure how many votes for motorcycles today dealing with all the wind in. So again, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. So one of the things I wanted to take just a few minutes to go through and talk about. I know one of the things our department oversees the crash information in the state, and I know that's a good opportunity to kind of go through. We just are working on the preliminaries coming in from 2012, and I wanted to share some of the things that we're seeing at this point. In 2011, for the state, we ended up, so far the information we have, we were at 3,062 fatalities. Unfortunately, in 2012, and again the information is preliminary, we're at 3,367. So we've seen a 10% increase in traffic fatalities here in Texas. And this is something we're seeing actually all around the country. We're seeing an increase in terms of total fatalities that are taking place. And part of that is we had been on a decrease for 7 years. And so lots of discussion going on now, what's happening, what's taking place. And typically when the economy is worse around the country, people aren't driving as much, don't see as much freight that's taking place, and people are driving less out in rural areas where we see a lot of our fatal crashes. And so as our economy's starting to improve, I think people are out and about more. And so unfortunately, I think we're seeing some of the side effects of being out there and driving more. Look at motorcycle data though, which I'm pleased to see the numbers are still way too high. In 2011, we had 488 motorcycle fatalities, and the preliminary data so far for 2012 we're at 457. So we're actually down 6.4%. And again, these numbers are still coming in, but the trends, but that's still 457 of moms and dads, and brothers and sisters and coworkers that we've lost in traffic crashes, motorcycle related. And so far today, in January, we had 26 fatalities, and we've had another 4 in February from the reports that have come in so far. So we still have a lot of work to do. So that's something today, as we go through and talking about lots of opportunities for us to all get involved in, to work at the state and local level to improve these numbers. This last year, we've been really pleased to participate in a number of campaigns. We've worked closely doing public information education efforts around the state, as well as working with TTI on our motorcycle awareness and outreach program. And special thanks to those of you that have been helping TTI and with those efforts as we've been getting materials out like the yard signs and getting the messaging all out around the state. And then we've also been working on a project for increasing recruitment and retention of motorcycle training instructors. And this year we're going to be continuing to work on a statewide motorcycle campaign. We'll be gearing up for late April, going into May, which is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Textile, we've been continuing to utilize our dynamic message signs to get the motorcycle safety messages out there. We've done that at various points during the year, and I know a lot of our district offices work with the local organizations whenever there's a rally going on to help get messaging out there about the importance of looking twice for motorcycles when we've got those events going on. Also wanted to take just a little time to talk about funding for motorcycle safety. It's an interesting time that we're going through as a country, looking at budgets. And in fact, I was listening to discussions this morning coming in, talking about the sequestering of funds and what might happen as of Friday in terms of budget reductions. And we're operating currently under a continuing resolution from taking us through from the previous transportation bill. We now have a new transportation bill, MAP 21, which is moving ahead for progress in the 21st century. And so states, we're in the process right now. Congress has set up the funding and the different types of funds that will be available. And so we're in the process right now of putting together applications for funding consideration for those funds. So we're actually currently working on an application that's due March 25th. And one of those areas we'll be applying for is motorcycle safety funding. And we've under the safety loop, the previous transportation bill, we were able to get just about $400,000 a year to help us with motorcycle safety. And so under the MAP 21, the numbers aren't quite as high. We're anticipating probably somewhere around 300,000, but it's, the requirements that they set forth under MAP 21 are very similar in terms of what will be required for us to submit an application for funding. And so those awards that they're going to be providing will help us in terms of putting together programs to reduce single and multi-vehicle crashes involving motorcyclists. And there's several areas, and we only have to qualify for 2 out of 6 areas under MAP 21. And one is to have a motorcycle rider education training, which we do as a state, and also having a motorcycle awareness program, which we also have a number of efforts underway. Also, another area is you can have a reduction in fatalities and crashes involving motorcycles. So our numbers are down a little over 6%, so we'll see how that plays in. So we don't think we're going to have any problem at all in terms of getting that application in and getting the funding. So there's 3 other areas: impaired driving program, where you have a statewide program to reduce impaired driving with specific measures that are tied in with motorcycle operation. And then there's another area is a reduction in fatalities and crashes involving impaired motorcyclists. And again, we're going to have King Copeland with NHTSA is going to come up and talk, and I'm sure you'll be sharing some of the information in terms of what we're seeing in terms of numbers. And then another area is the use of fees collected for motorcyclists for motorcycle programs. And so again, we're working on that application now, and so hopefully we'll be getting those funding. We've actually gone through typically the time of year that we're getting together. We're in the process of actually soliciting proposals for funding consideration. And because of this new transportation bill, all of our planning process has moved up earlier. We actually now have to submit our funding applications to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration for the federal fiscal year. We put together what we call a Highway Safety Performance Plan, and that's due the 1st of July for 2014. So we've actually already gone through our request for proposal process, had several proposals turned in for funding consideration, and so those have been reviewed, and we're going through and looking at projects for funding consideration right now. So we've got lots of opportunities. I think as we'll, in just a minute, we're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves. We've got a number of TxDOT staff here, and just kind of note those folks and where they're from, and encourage you to tie in with those individuals. And we're also really excited from the TxDOT perspective is that we've recently we're in the process right now of expanding our staff. We will have a full-time TxDOT traffic safety specialist in every TxDOT district office. So we'll have all 25 districts covered with a full-time person. And then in the large areas, the Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Houston, we'll have 2 full-time staff. You're going to have the opportunity to meet some of those folks here today. And so encourage you with your local activities to tie in with traffic safety specialists, because we can be great partners there at the local level.